You're on.
Let's call the meeting to order. First of all, we have any guests that want to speak to you. Is there anybody that would like to speak this morning?
I think, did you all want to talk before the board? Or
Well, we just want to introduce yourself. My name is Victor Acosta. I'm the Deputy Patrol Agent in charge for the Fort Hancock Station. And the only thing that we had pressing was some vegetation clearing on the banks of the river and some of the canals in our AOR and the El Paso AOR. And it's my understanding that some paperwork had been delivered from DC over to the point of contact here with the board. So we didn't know exactly. I think he was explaining a little bit of the response that they can't allow anybody to actually clear that land. They have to go in some kind of agreement for you guys to clear it. And we just wanted to get some clarity on that and to make sure that that's the case.
Right. And we did receive some paperwork from them the day before yesterday, but like we had explained to the officers that came in, that we would do the work on our property, and if they wanted to contract with us, we'd be able to.
Yeah, it's just information only right now. We didn't get it on the agenda because it came in so late, so we'll put it on the agenda for next month.
Okay. All right. So if it's on the agenda for next month, we'll come back next month and we'll get some clarity and maybe get some little course of action so we can go forward with the clearing of the vegetation.
Okay, thank you. We'll be looking forward to working with you.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Excuses. Thank you. Have a great meeting. We'll see you.
And I just want to introduce myself, Isaac Villarreal, out of the Clint Station here. I'm the new Border Community Liaison, so I'll be here if y'all have any questions. Get with me after the meeting. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
My name is Yvonne Padilla, and I'm the Border Community Liaison for the Fort Hancock Station as well.
Okay.
And I'll be attending for next month's meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Well, number 3 is reappointment of general manager and reappointment of chief financial officer. I think we can table those. Why don't we put that off to a closed session and then we'll come back, okay? We need to discuss in closed session the board. Okay, minutes of January 12th and January 28th meetings of board of directors are in your packet. I don't hear any additions or corrections to such. To either of the meetings. Having heard none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
Mark makes a motion, George seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. We have to order an election, okay. Lisa, do you want to?
Yes.
You're already at the podium, I guess. Good. Right.
Yes, as dictated in the Texas Water Code, Chapter 49, it is required that there shall be an election in May of each even numbered year to elect the appropriate number of directors. Enclosed up under separate cover, you will find the order calling directors election to be held on May 7th, 2022 for positions 2 and 5. So at this time, it is asked that you approve the order calling director election.
We need a motion to approve the order of the election. Will I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay, George makes second, and Larry seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. I just need to get
The
Mr.
election is
Ceballos.
ordered.
It is ordered. If I could just get your signature, sir.
Okay, Mary Cortez.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here we have several reports to go through or over. There are quite a few reports where we can look at the one for January that reflects the last 3 months.
Right, well, in January, it takes care of all of it.
Yes. On the monthly report for the month of January, there is a correction on the general fund. That amount should be $4,927,729.62. we did receive several, invoices from PNC that reflect that balance. And in regards to those funds in the account, I'll be looking into reinvesting. Just this morning, the treasury bill, the rates, are higher, a bit higher than they were prior. For a 6-month, investment, we're looking at 0.72%. A 1-year investment then is at 1.12%, and a 1.5-year investment at 1.40%. We do have 3 certificate of deposits with Westar at this time. We do have 2 at a 1 year and 1 at a 6 months.
What's that interest rate?
The rates right now with Westar are 0.15, 0.05, and 0.20.
They haven't raised theirs
No, they
to reflect that. They watch the treasuries up here. So the treasuries have jumped up above our CP.
They have, yes, sir.
I wouldn't call it a jump, I'd call it wheels.
Well, we still have the ability to go to treasuries at any time.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm just surprised Westar didn't.
Well, I think probably the US government needs money more than the banks.
Well, they think they can just print it up. Just magically.
They gotta pay you more to invest your money in
There
their
you go.
business.
And just so the board knows, we did receive our first check from the county of El Paso for the crossings, for 500,000, but that just came in last week, so it'll reflect on next month's report, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
But I thought it was important that you all know that they have complied with their first payment.
Okay, great.
Now on the balance sheet, that amount that we needed to correct on the monthly also needs to be corrected, on the January balance sheet as well.
Well, I think it shows that 4.876.
Well, it should be at 4.927.
Oh, 4.927. Does that increase signify the amount of money you got in January from the?
Yes, there were some last final deposits that were entered into the account and was not reflected on the report. And next will be the net revenue.
Do we have a quarterly report due?
Yes, we,
You over that later, okay.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
You don't, next March?
yeah, we
Well, I
do
think
have the
December.
quarterly report for October, November, and
Oh,
December.
okay, for the last of
But we never, yeah.
the last quarter of last year.
We're looking at the January one, right?
The January, yes.
Almost everything was under budget, except for one. Appears normal.
We have, this report reflects 3 months into our fiscal. So on our revenue, we're about 61%, meeting our budget for the first 3 months.
It's an annual budget.
Okay. Quarter only.
If they've already met their budget, and the expense side of it, we got it on the first 3 months.
Yes. Which we're at about 22% at this time with our expenses. next report is our $500 check report.
I just have one question, the 9,900 Pan-American Security, what's that for?
That was for the sewage.
That's for that sewage stuff, that's
Emergency.
kind of what I'm on.
Back to all those, you see all those names of security officers that were.
Okay.
And, Dr. Jordan, we just didn't have, I had missed putting the stars by the
Yes.
ones that are reimbursable on there. So Mary can tell you which ones are reimbursable right now. And on the next month, this is a new report. If you guys like this report, it's different than the previous one. It's sorted by categories rather than amount. And we'll go ahead and get the reimbursable notation put on for next month if this looks acceptable.
I vote aye on this report, I like it, to separate it in the amount. Another one, right on in the middle of that security, says vehicle use but off-duty security, what does that mean?
Yes, we had the sheriff's officers that we were using for security are required to utilize a patrol car from the county of El Paso, but we had to pay them separately, the county, for the use of that patrol car. It's all that's reimbursable by our agreement with El Paso Water.
Okay.
Put all these names already, security.
Yes. As a matter of fact, we met with one of their assistant CFOs yesterday, Pete and I, and we'll be meeting with Mary and Lisa and Pete to put all our billing in order so we can go ahead and submit it so we can get reimbursed on.
Anything that has to do with the Bureau of Reclamation, those are all reimbursable, right, Mary? Well, there's 231, 232.
We have to pay for our share of the dam,
Is that what
operation.
Yes, the operation.
our share including them?
Curious, Pete's in here, where's the glyphosate line item? Where's the Roundup item? Is there a Roundup item, Chief?
No, we didn't purchase
You
any
don't have
Roundup
any, you
here.
got some in reserve?
Yeah, we got some in the warehouse, yes, sir.
Okay.
We're waiting for the mustard grass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but have you been reading what's happening with Monsanto?
Oh, is it going sky high?
Oh, it's going crazy. And Monsanto's claimed they're short of some critical molecule in the manufacture of it, so it's maybe go higher than that. So if you got any, you may want to start looking at lock and key, you know.
Okay. Yeah, we should have 3 totes left.
Right, and we do have it under lock and key.
Okay, good. It's going sky high anyway.
Thanks to the coronavirus.
Either strike.
These are under,
Yeah.
And final report on each approval will be the quarterly.
Say it again, Mary.
The final report on each approval would be the quarterly report.
Okay. Whatever we do, there's no question or any other questions for Mary on the $500 check.
The quarterly report.
Okay, you have the quarter report for January 31st of the 2000.
December
December
31st.
31st. I'm glad we have it. Somewhere I got so many things I have them all.
Okay, I recommend that we approve that quarterly investment report for the period ending 12/31/2020.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, we approve the credit, the investment report for the fourth quarter of 2021. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
We took it easy on you, Mary, we know you just got back from being sick, so, no, I just,
Thank you.
Okay. What's up,
Good morning.
good morning.
We have two adjustments for December and February. The first one in December was property did not irrigate in 2001 for Kathy Royston investigation, so we are taking off the water charges of $13.80.
That's under December.
Yes, sir. We have 3 months.
I had one question, Sonia,
Yes,
on
sir.
on the far right where it says explanation, says property did use irrigation water for 2021 for Kathy Oyston investigation. Did you mean to say property did not use?
Did not use.
Okay. Just there's a little typo in there, didn't put this on.
Oh,
Okay.
I had a question. I noticed that one on that church,
yes, sir.
that the El Paso Central Appraisal District granted them full exemption.
It's rolling back to 2017.
My question was, since ours is not an ad valorem tax, do we have to go by what their deal is? I'm not sure, maybe the attorneys can speak to that, because
Well, Lineberg, our attorney, our collection attorneys, Lineberg actually provided us the documents. There was a tax suit at one time for them, and they actually contacted us that they were granted a full exemption, and they rolled back.
okay, they're granted by the county or the Central Appraisal District, but I mean,
Well, Johnny's right. Our taxes are not, like, they're not ad valorem taxes.
No, correct. Yes, sir, no.
So,
Right, they're not ad valorem taxes, right. And if we have a foreclosure suit, tax foreclosure, we may share in it, but it's not because we're on ad valorem, it's just because that was our part, and the attorney handling that, the foreclosure sale, had to forward our share to us.
so we bootstrap a lot of things. We do, we're not a member of Central Appraisal District,
Right,
but we rely, and the board to save money, significant amounts of money, has us. So we don't run our own appraisal district, and in this case, it's not ad valorem, it's just benefit. So we would have to come up with, and follow some fairly stringent guidelines like the Central Appraisal does to make sure that when we declared land agricultural or non-agricultural, that we were following that. That process would be very good. We also, it's not just that process, there's probably a dozen legal processes that if we didn't rely on Central Appraisal, that we'd be responsible. We could do that. We haven't developed a legal thesis on that, but I've seen other districts do that. It's just that it's such a huge expense. We don't pay to the Central, they don't take any of our money. And we get that service for free by bootstrapping off of them.
I'm not questioning our methodology, I'm questioning the legality of it.
It's legal.
It's legal.
They meet all the legal requirements, they far as
If we go
rely
by
on.
their deal, we have the
We're not
legal
saying
right
that we
to do
have
that.
ad valorem tax.
We could do it, and that's, I'm talking about something different, Jim.
Okay.
But it's, and you know, this goes way back. This is a decision the board made a long, long time ago. And we've been following that, and so but if you want us to look into, make a presentation of the board about how
I
we
hadn't
do that.
seen one like this in a good while, and I got to thinking about all the things that we talked about in the past, that, you know, ours is different, and we don't have the right to exempt
That's why-
taxes on our own, but if it's legal to do it, I'm.
Oh, yeah, it's, we're relying upon the process they go through.
Yes, the process we go through.
We could recreate that whole process for ourselves, and then what would come before the board is a whole lot more decisions about.
I'm not advocating that, I just wanna make sure that we're.
For
legal
example,
about it.
when this particular suit or this
It was
complaint was filed, that they said, hey, we are tax exempt, no, Central Appraisal is saying you're not, They went through the dispute resolution and the legal process of that and paid for all that. Whereas if it was your guys' decision about that, whether somebody's exempt or not, then we would have to pay for all that legal process. So I think you can understand the enormity of that.
No, I understand it, I just wanna make sure we're in compliance with the.
Yeah, no, we're
tax code.
we're
That's all.
there, well,
If we are, that's all.
as long as if they ever aren't in compliance, you'll let me know, right?
Yes, of course, yes, no, they are, they do an investigation and they go back so far.
Yeah, the central appraisal.
They go down, they actually-
So how do we assess our taxes? How are our taxes assessed?
That's
No,
how many weeks do you have?
No, per acre, sir. We're at a flat rate per acres, that's our
Right,
tax rate,
correct.
yes, sir.
And then you have the water use.
Yes, they did not use
Even
any
the
water
exempt
though.
organizations, like the county, if they use water, they gotta pay us.
They gotta
Correct,
pay
yes,
it,
sir.
and we negotiate with them at that time a contract, since they're tax exempt, to pay the equivalent
Right.
or
Yes, sir.
greater, and you guys do determine that. So if the church wants any water, they will have to negotiate a contract with you guys now. And every contract we've ever done has had them pay the equivalent of the beneficial tax, the assessment.
Sorry, I brought it up, I was just.
Yeah, we get, if Mr. Spear wants to know how we assess taxes, that's about a 2-week
I just
seminar.
wanna make
You
sure.
know, you know, I ain't gonna tell well I get assessed taxes. I know what the law is.
No, I said you did, I said it, but I'm trying to explain, I apologize, that's not what I meant.
Let's move on, Jim. We're good, I shouldn't have said you brought it, but I did. So, then we need a motion to approve the two adjustments.
Yes, sir.
Two different ones.
Motion to approve.
For
Do
December.
I hear that motion?
Second.
You made the motion?
Yeah.
I made the motion, George second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Your adjustment.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Then our percentage for February, we're actually at 89.77%, so we're not too bad. Next month in March, we'll be sending out tax statements again for delinquency.
I was looking back at the history of that stuff, and the delinquencies have grown and grown, and in the last 8 or 10 years, they have really grown every year. And for a long time, we didn't, I guess, because there's so many more small tracts that don't want to pay. their
Correct, yes, sir.
taxes.
Subdivisions.
Farm, and they pay them in the farm. Because they, did you notice that?
Yeah, especially since they're not getting much water.
Yeah, exactly, since the drought started, it really went up. Okay. Just a observation on my part.
That's all I have, we're the two tax.
Okay, Sonia, anything else, guys, any questions or something? No? Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, general manager's report.
All right, on item A, Pete and I met with our contractor yesterday, we did a walkthrough of the cleanup. They pressure washed the sides of the canal, and we've gotten 2 vac trucks from El Paso Water, and they've been removing the slush and the additional water from the bottom of the canal. The contractor feels confident that he'll be finished with the cleanup by tomorrow, and Pete's going to meet out there with him. If he is finished, then we're going to go ahead and remove the berm that we have right in front of the discharge from Robert Bustamante treatment plant and flush out the system. And we've coordinated with Robert, since we've started delivering return flow as of Monday. We've coordinated with Robert to flush out the system for 24 hours and then go ahead and put the water back into our canal system where we feel safe. And we've run it by Al on what they've used as far as chlorine to disinfect the canal, where we wouldn't impact any of our constituents. And so everything looks good. I've been coordinating everything with El Paso Water. They've approved everything, any expenses that we've had to make there. And like I told you a little earlier, we are going to put all our invoices together and go ahead and send them into El Paso Water we should be reimbursed within 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
And then on the upper part, at the settling basin, they've got a different company working up there at the beginning of the American Canal into the settling basin. They should be finished because of all the silt and so on that they've got to remove. It'll probably take them probably another couple of weeks to finish that area. And so we'll start staying on top of that one to make sure that everything is done to our satisfaction. So far, everything's worked out great. The cleanup of the river, they have removed where the raw sewage was going into the Rio Grande. They have removed a lot of the dirt and have taken it elsewhere for burial, and so they're TCEQ and the federal people have been all right with what's going on, so we don't have any issues to report. Okay. And then item B, we'll be having a Zoom meeting with our farmers to report to them about return flow and what the season is looking like. We are going to let them know that we're looking at another season more or less identical to last year, where we'll release water and have it here in the El Paso vicinity by June 1st, and where we could start delivering irrigation water at that time, project water. And then just depending on the runoffs and so on that coming into the lake, we'll know exactly then how long we'll be able to go with in the season. We don't expect an allocation to be brought to you all for approval till the May meeting. And at that time, Al's been working with Phil King and Michelle Estrada on how the numbers are looking.
Yeah, I have a little presentation.
Okay. And then on item C, we did begin, Robert's not here today because his family has been suffering with COVID also, and although Robert has not tested positive, he's staying away since he's been in communication with some of his family that has had COVID. But we're hoping that he and his family will be negative by the beginning of next week, and he can return back to work. But anyway, he is staying in touch with his assistants. We have so far to date 42 orders of return flow for a total of 2,200 acres. That's what we have so far. So we plan on letting the farmers know at our 1:30 meeting that if they have intentions and they can get return flow in units 8 and 9, they should put their orders in. And that's all I had.
Any questions? Jude? Okay, engineer.
Did you want to give this presentation?
We're going to do it under Pete since I didn't have it. It came in late, so we'll do it when Pete covers his.
Why don't we do go to Pete then, because I'm queued up for, they told me to hear the presentation.
Okay, Pete, you're on.
Pete has his own also.
Okay.
Yeah.
They said it was your presentation.
Yeah, we just didn't put it on the agenda, so Pete's got it on his.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, everything's coming along. I've got some actual pictures on this here. This for next week. Go over the top of it.
So do you want to do yours?
No, let's go with this one first.
Okay.
Yeah. You already got it set up, so.
Yeah, we'll have to take it out. I've got them on 2 different drawers.
So on the rear side, we are doing approximately 4,900 feet. We've already prepared 1,000 feet of that to where we need to go in there and just install some liner and then the panels, then we can start shooting. We are working on the next 1,000, which I'm at about 75%, just leaving us with about 2,900. So I'm pretty confident that we will be able to complete the riverside by this year before water season actually begins.
Complete the sections that we have marked out.
Yes, up to, which will be pretty much from where we left off last year, which is right behind the Socorro Ponds. Oops, sorry. And all the way to Ding Dinger Road.
Yeah, what we did last year was that 3750 that you see in red, and what we're doing this year is at 2850.
Just some pictures of, I guess, those are here recently. It actually seems like it's more than 2,800 feet.
That's where we left off last year, and that's the continuation of the dirt work that Pete's doing.
We're having to close the channel approximately about 15 to 20 feet on both sides. We actually can get equipment on that right bank to where before I couldn't even get a pickup to that right bank. And you'll see there, I've got those big dump trucks in there already, I've got the grader in there, so it's coming around pretty good.
And once we finish this year, then we'll be done with almost half of the riverside. And hopefully with what we have in grant applications and already approved, we'll be able to take a good chunk out of next year out of the balance. And then we've also applied for a grant beneath Wasteway 2.
Back on Riverside.
Yeah, where I was working on a section there
I
that,
have a map of that, sorry.
right, where we can remove sediment.
Yeah, with that said, on this one here, it actually wasn't due until 2023,
Correct.
2024.
2023.
2023, so we're actually a year ahead on the
On the
riverside.
riverside.
That's good. Because there's been no water in the canals to kind of keep you from working.
Right. I believe next year, we've got the Franklin Feeder, which will be another large project. So that kind of gives us a little bit of breathing room to do some other projects that we've got pending.
So this next one is the east lab. This is the third phase of the concrete lining of the east line. Once we finish with this, we'll have just a very small section to complete all the way to, what is the new road called? New Waco Tanks
New
Road?
Waco Tanks Road, yes.
New Waco Tanks Road.
Yeah, so on this one here, we've completed already 2,100 feet. We should be done with all the shotcrete by next week, and the east line will be completed to at 100%. I have met with City of Socorro. I met with them yesterday. We will be replacing the culvert at Moon Road. We're expanding it, upgrading it, installing head walls, and it's all been paid by the City of Socorro. And I'll be starting that during spring break, because there is a school right beside it. So spring break, I believe it's March the 3rd. So March the 3rd, we'll start on the Moon Road project. It should take us probably about a month to complete. with head walls and all.
That's an unengineered project?
Right, yeah, we're replacing just a pipe under the road.
Right.
Yeah, so that's like we do with the county, we have a similar agreement with
Correct.
in the license with Socorro now, that Pete, those type of replacements, they pay for the material, and you pay for the labor, and so that's not brought to engineering.
And actually.
Well, actually, they're paying 100%.
Yeah, they're paying 100%.
We stay out of it.
We changed it because Pete and I got together, we calculated it was costing us money to do these projects, so any projects that we do like this, they're paying 100%. They're paying for the materials, they're paying for the labor, and we're building some of our equipment also.
So we met yesterday, and now they're wanting an additional 2 other crossings, which I told them it ain't gonna happen this year, but we're gonna start working on those. One of them, two more crossings over by Anderson Road, where they're building all that new subdivision. Well, what's happened there is the road is actually wider than the crossing. So they're scared that a car's gonna be coming in here, going into the Isla Narrow, which it will happen. So we're gonna go ahead and expand that one to about 80 feet also.
These are some pictures of the before and after
Right.
of the Isla.
Let's start at the beginning now? Or I could go ahead and just get my report done.
And the island main, where are you all at?
Yeah, the island main, we're just waiting for the funding where we'll get that scheduled next year and hit it hard and see if we can complete that section.
Okay, yeah, so here you got the before and after. This is right by Sanchez Middle School. And here we had to also narrow the Isla some. We went with a 4-foot bottom and 16-foot tops, just to give you an idea of what's looking like. This section of the Isla is used very minimal. We can use it to feed the Isla below the Wallington, but irrigations in this area are very minimal now.
The reason we targeted it though to Concrete Line is because of all the residential on both sides and businesses on both, in some areas on both sides, and the school. So we're always concerned we'd have a ditch break.
Which is that?
No, this is the Isla. Right here where I'm standing would be Rio Vista. So Rio Vista was that bridge that we did last year. So we went from that bridge all the way upstream to Moon Road.
And it runs more or less parallel with North Loop,
Yes.
but into the neighborhood. That's where this lateral is located.
Yeah, there on the left side, you can see that's the parking lot for Middle Sanchez School. Or Sanchez Middle School, as they go back.
You're making them deeper and narrower now?
We're actually going down to what our profile shows. We're going to our flow line elevation, and we're going down. And but we are narrowing it. We are narrowing to speed up the water. Yes. I'll start off with a couple of the drains within the city of El Paso. I'll go through them pretty quick. Pretty much it's a repetition of what I show you every year. I mean every month, but just which am I supposed to be pressing on top of that?
I don't know if it works. Maybe just the laser works on it, but he's telling me all of that.
Check is it on the side?
The what?
It should be.
The battery switch. It's all right, just tell me.
Okay, well, let's just move through the drains pretty quick. Just to kind of show the board the progress we've been doing. All this is inside the city of El Paso. Mesa drain. Right now, we've pulled the excavators out of the drains because I'm utilizing them on the riverside. So I've left only one long reach on the drains for now. And I'm also utilizing some of the drain people to complete some of the projects that have been arising. We've been having quite a few accidents that we're having to go do repairs on our system. That's the Franklin drain. The Franklin drain, the city of El Paso, I believe, went in there and you can see what they cut from our bank. So what we're doing is we're digging it out and placing it back on top.
So what happened there?
I'm only assuming it was the city of El Paso. Well, I see the city or whoever was doing work, but you see how they cut into our bank?
Right.
I really don't know who did it.
Contractor, probably.
Yeah.
Somebody needed some dirt?
Well,
This is over there by Southside Road where they did.
yes, right on the Franklin drain, yes. That's actually Carl Longmire.
Yeah, I know where the water tank is. And that's not where they're doing the south side work, is it?
No, that's just
For their street.
Yeah, I guess, that's strange.
I don't know, I'll just bring it up with them.
yeah. I mean, I really don't know if it was ML or not. I really don't know who did it. But that's that same drain after we were completed with it.
Like to use the material for the road.
Probably so. And that's the Franklin drain, that's that same drain. Now, that's the drain behind the water treatment plant, river drain.
Pretty clean right
Well, after we got done with it, it was.
there.
Yeah, that, we did that to help the border patrol.
Go down. That's some of that, most amount of water. Then it's up the upper valley by, behind Sunlight Park. That's some of the drain.
That's the racetrack there.
Yeah, the racetrack.
That's the groundwater level, guys.
Wow.
That's groundwater level, so it's what, those banks are built up, so that's about 6 inches below the horse's hoof.
Shoot.
And it's all the way back to about Sunset, backs up all the way. That's that little
We
section.
haven't
by
been putting a
Plum
lot of
Down.
water on, how come the groundwater is so high right now?
That's the bottom of the system.
And just the bottom
Where
of
it
it.
all banks up, you know.
And I guess
Rains aren't flowing that.
with that outlet to the river is scheduled to be replaced someday. We thought it'd be replaced by now to get some of the problems.
That's gonna help a lot.
It's not,
Drainage system.
it's in the schedule, it just keeps getting delayed each year. I'm not sure why it got delayed this year, we thought it'd be done.
We supposed to do it?
Boundary commission.
Okay, so this is over by the river drain between Coldwell Street and, Las Pampas. I had Dolores from, what is it, City Code Enforcement? So she's been on me about this for some time now. So we went in there and, we hauled 5 roll-offs just in this little area. It was approximately 1,000 tires that were removed just from this little area here.
Wow.
And that doesn't include the sofas and mattresses and everything else. That's just tires. So,
Thanks for Texas for charging
keep going up.
to get rid of them. Before they started that, it was free. They paid for it. Once they changed that, it just.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we used our roll-off to haul everything out to Rope Masters, so we did fill up 5 of them.
Wow.
Where's this at, Pete?
This is on the river drain between Coldwell Road in Sanelli to Las Pampas.
Behind where the cemetery is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you, I know it seems, well, Robert, maybe you remember, didn't we do this like in 95 or two?
We did it after that. We did it here with some of the grant money
This is
that,
the third major
Yeah,
thing.
well, you know, for
So
a while,
code
Texas-
enforcement needs to enforce, not dumping
Well,
codes.
that Texas changed the law where you have to pay for
Yeah, that
disposal.
could
That's
cause-
that's what caused it, right?
Well, what the deal was that, well, it's so complicated, you and I, went to the legislature on behalf of you guys and other people, and thought we had a law passed and the governor vetoed it. It's really bad. They still collect the money for it, they just don't use it to go to the dump.
Well, yeah, they collect the money for it, but,
You prepay it when you buy your.
You
car.
prepay, but that money doesn't,
And they were funding some of the disposal of the tires, there for a couple of years, but they've been cutting back on the funding, so we'll probably, as a Texas Irrigation Council, is, one of the items that we're discussing is going back to TCEQ and getting on them again about this.
so even the loophole we tried to shut, the tire industry wasn't against, so, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume it's still going on. So what was illegal was that when a fee is collected, there's a minimum amount of tread, unusable tire like these, then whoever took the tire off the rim had to use that money to dispose of it. What they allowed was them to sell lots of used tires, so you'd have a bad tire and a good used tire in the same bin. And so all the places will bid on a bin, these used tire shops, and then they sort them out. They don't have,
one on our ditch.
and that's why our ditch bank gets the ones that don't have the legal tread. So it's,
And we charge to go to the dump, they dump it on your canal.
Right.
well, right, they charge to go to the dump and they just pay to be, so it was a workaround by the big tire guys to get free disposal of the tires. They're selling the good tires along with the bad tires. So, I don't know if that's still going on, but
I'm pretty sure it is.
it is. That's I don't know how we stop that.
Go to the next one.
You don't, you just clean up.
Hovercraft.
Okay, this is one of those accidents that I mentioned a few minutes ago. This is actually right here by Kellum Road. We did have two, actually, I believe it was on the same day. And they hit the head wall and they hit the turnout. The turnout has already been repaired there. And good thing about it is that this person here does have insurance. So I'm submitting the paperwork over to Lisa so she can go ahead and put a claim to the insurance for reimbursement.
It was something pretty big that hit him?
This actually was a car.
Just a car. What's on the car?
It was a car.
They must have been going pretty fast to go all the way across.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he got arrested for DUI, so, on both places. The other one was over by,
Oh, he was flying, not just.
yes, and the other one was over right by where they're always having accidents, is over by the entrance of the Hermanos place. They hit it in the 97.
Oh, yeah.
They hit it again.
Well, that-
And unfortunately,
that's
that
early,
yeah, that guy didn't have insurance, so